Hi everyone, today is what, 17th of September or 19th? 18th.
It's a Sunday of September.
Okay, it's the 17th of September. This is the weekly gaming news wrap up. A lot of Nintendo news this week. I've got with me Hugo,
Hello.
Stu,
Hello.
and Ken,
Hi.
who will be the, what do you call it, moral support.
Yeah, boy.
Let's start off quickly with Nintendo, seeing as, actually not quickly, because they're the main thing this week. So before we get into the Direct, which has most of the news, I'm going to start off with this thing known as the Switch tax, which, for people that don't know, it's this problem that a lot of people seem to find with games on the Switch that exist on other platforms that cost much less on other platforms, but for some reason cost more on the Nintendo Switch. So this week now, as has been announced, L.A. Noire will be getting a remaster, and it will cost $10 on the Switch than it will for the other versions for the exact same content. Not to mention for the fact that the Switch version probably won't be as superior as to the others. It seems a bit strange that the exact same products cost more in one area than another.
Especially because it's on a console with less power. It seems really strange to me.
Yeah, it is a bit weird, but I don't know, it is the way it is. Now, moving on to a game that a lot of people, I think, if I said this was released, would be wondering, hey, hasn't this been out for years? Ark Survival Evolved just got its official release.
Oh, it was like an open beta for ages, wasn't it?
Yeah, it just got its official release, and according to a lot of people, like, it's still broken as hell in terms of performance. And isn't it like, it's something weird because it's an open release that actually has like a DLC already before the game even came out.
Mm-hmm. So it already has a DLC?
Yeah. So what happened was when it was in like beta or whatever you call it, the developers like announced a DLC even whilst they were still making the game, and they like made the DLC as well.
Okay.
Which was really bizarre, and it caused a lot of people to get pissed off where they're asking like, where's our real product? But anyway, moving on, Destiny 2 was released this week, probably the biggest release of this, definitely the biggest release of this week, but one of the biggest releases of the year. And even though I'm sure its sales are fine, it seems that a lot of people think that the sales are down on the previous Destiny. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that people bought the first Destiny just knowing it was Bungie. But with the second one, it was...
Destiny did really well because like all the Halo fanboys wanted to get another Bungie game.
But also, like, Destiny's a love it or hate it game, isn't it?
Yeah. If you like that sort of game, then it's great.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't.
Anyway, back to the story. So JFK Chart Track has stated that Destiny 2 had a larger launch than anything else in the UK this year. However, compared to the sales of Destiny 1 in the first week, it's down 58%.
Okay.
Now, this like is actually worse than Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which I think was like 50s, but still not as bad. I think low 50s. And I should note that this only accounts for physical copies.
Oh, so they don't track the online copies as the same statistic?
Well, it's hard to know digital because it has to basically be given by Sony.
Yeah, that's true.
Physical, they can look at a lot of other things, so you can actually figure it out. So even though now with like the world moving more and more to digital, it's still bizarre because year on year there's like more people moving to digital games than there are physical, but it's not enough to cause a 58% drop, right? Assuming that...
Yeah, 58% is an enormous drop. Especially for something, it's just like a sequel of a previous game. Destiny 1 did pretty well.
Oh, Destiny 1 sold a ton. I know this has also been similar in places like Japan, right? Like it's been down a fair bit. And Japan is weird because it's one of the few places and markets where physical games are actually on the rise. People aren't going digital. And even there, it's still down. Anyway, moving on. So this one isn't that big of a news in terms of the game. So Okami HD has been officially announced and will be coming to the three major platforms, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okami is one that I really don't know much about at all.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okami was the first Zelda-like game I ever played. I played that before I even played like my first Zelda.
Okay.
Because obviously I was with PlayStation growing up. And so to me, like whenever I play that, I always think of it as like the best Zelda game I've ever played, right? But who knows where it realistically sits. But it is a very well-renowned game, and I think it's great because it's super unique. But back to the story. It'll be released on December 12, which I know isn't really much of a news story, but the reason why it is that there'll only be a physical version for the PS4, which I suppose kind of makes sense because it's probably like a small download anyway.
Yeah.
And the PS4 audience will be the people with the history with it, assuming that they still have PlayStation.
So they'll be the people who actually care about having the physical copy.
Yeah, but here's where it gets weird. So it's $19.99 for physical and $14.99 for digital.
It's cheaper on digital.
Yeah, which is one of
the... It kind of makes sense though, because production costs, there's like zero production costs.
No, but like all games should definitely be cheaper on digital, right?
Yeah.
But they aren't because they need to keep like price parity with physical.
Yes.
And so this is like the first game where they're just straight up going, hey, it doesn't really matter. We're going to put physical higher than digital.
Mhm.
And I wonder if that's like a sign to come. If like that affects maybe.
What if future games will all have a cheaper version on digital?
Yeah, because the reason why it's physical is because of retailers, right?
Yeah.
Like EB or GameStop if you're in America.
But I think it's quite standardized, isn't it? Prices of physical games.
Yeah, everything. So AAA game is like $60.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I think it's weird now because previously only AAA games would get physical releases, right? But now you'll
like
see
indie games would all get only on the digital.
But now you're seeing like a weird thing where even indie games are getting physical releases, or even games that aren't AAA, like Telltale games. They're not AAA games, but they're still getting their physical release.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the cost of doing physical has come down or something like that. But it's nice to see that digital is getting more popularity.
It's just so much more convenient.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on, Samus Returns reviews have come in.
It's doing pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got an 88 on Metacritic and OpenCritic. Basically, people love it because it's not just like a remake of, what was it, Metroid 2?
That's the one that's the best one, isn't it?
Yeah, so apparently it was meant to be a remake of Metroid 2, but they said they've kind of reimagined it.
Rather than just remaking it.
Yeah, because, the biggest issue with remasters is you play a lot of old games and go, oh shit, these systems do not work.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like how the Crash Bandicoot is so clunky.
Yeah.
Because the systems are just weird.
But it's also like used to like tons of quality of life stuff. So things that like weren't deal breakers for you back then, like having a game without an autosave now is just like nightmarish. Because there's going to be a few moments where you forget and you'll lose like 5 hours of progress. But yeah, anyway, it's a really good job and it's doing really well. Now, do you guys remember the NES Classic?
Yeah.
The one with Star Fox 2, yeah?
No, that's the SNES Classic. That's coming out later this year. But the NES Classic, the one that came out last year that like ran out of stock really quickly.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo says they're planning to bring it back for 2018 because of popular demand. And this finally, like, I suppose this has been the thing.
So was it intentional that it ran out of stock? Like they purposely wanted it to not have enough?
Well, Nintendo's notorious for like, oh, we're going to purposely understock our stuff so that it appears more valuable.
Yeah.
So people were like not willing to give them a pass because they were saying with the NES Classic, like, hey guys, we didn't plan this. And same with the Switch now. They're like, hey guys, we didn't plan this. We're not like purposely trying to screw people over.
But like
of course,
no one's buying it.
Yeah, well, I mean, history speaks for itself with the way they have managed their products. But now it does seem like this is solid evidence that they really just underestimated the demand for the product. So that's great news. They said they got more news in the future, and people are starting to hope now that this is what will happen to the SNES Classic because that's going to be impossible to find.
Yeah.
And that's going to be out of production at the end of this year because they said they're only making a certain amount.
Trying to drive prices up?
Yeah. Now, Stu,
yes.
The game I think actually, Hugo, you and I were just discussing.
Which game?
Oh, we were all discussing. PUBG.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone Battleground.
Have you heard of it? Now, it's the biggest hit of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And as what tends to happen with big hits is that there tends to be a fair few copycat versions.
Oh, there's heaps of PUBG. Well, I mean, PUBG came from a mod in H1Z1.
Yeah.
But it's the same guy, so...
Well, I mean, yeah. It's weird because, like, PUBG-type games have existed for a while, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
But PUBG is the one that's popular.
I think they existed for a while in the form of that mod.
No, like, games themselves. Like, do you remember Soviet Womble, Hugo?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's got videos from years ago with basically the exact idea of PUBG.
Okay.
So, like, except PUBG just came at the right place at the right time and took everyone by storm. Or maybe it just does a lot.
Because they took the best mod for H1Z1, and the actual creator who made that mod just made a real game.
Yeah, no. But anyway, that wasn't really what I was trying to say. But do you guys know of a game called Fortnite?
I think I've heard of it before, but I'm not sure what it is.
It's like an online co-op shoot. I'm not even sure. It's like an online co-op shooter where you go out and do quests, kind of like Destiny in an open world, except you have like a base that you can like build up when you get back and you do like base building and shit. So basically, they've literally done a PUBG version, like PUBG game mode has been put in where like 100 players are dropped into a map and it's like last player standing.
Yeah.
This obviously though, it does have some elements of Fortnite. So Fortnite with like its base building and stuff, they can like build bases and have defenses and things like that. I don't know how long the games will be because PUBG is like 25, 30-minute games, aren't they?
Yeah, like if you make it to the end, I think it's like 20 minutes or something. They're quite short.
I think that's one of the best things about PUBG is like I can sit down and finish it and I have my own little story.
Yeah,
within
you have
that
the whole
time.
adventure. And even if you die in the first 2 minutes, it's really quick finding a new game.
Yeah, whereas like a lot of other games, they take a while and things like that. But anyway, so that's a bit strange, and it seems like it's going to be a trend that's continuing. I think even Ghost Recon Wildlands is planning on having something like that as well.
Okay.
And that they're making a PvP of sorts. Do you guys remember Hugo, Stu?
Hmm?
Do you remember when I talked about Lawbreakers?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I said that game is kind of in trouble based on its play counts. Well, recently it's now consistently below 500 concurrent players on Steam, and it recently dropped to below 50.
Wow. So it's doing really well. It's really come back from the player troubles there.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen games like, if you remember Rainbow Six Siege,
Yep.
was fun.
Rainbow Six Siege came back in a big way.
So maybe it will come back, but it's just, I don't think it's for this
Yeah,
game.
no.
Because Rainbow Six Siege, one of the things about it was supported by Square Enix.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's published by Square Enix, so the money behind it is there. Whereas this is whatever the independent
Just like an
studio.
indie game.
Now, apparently it's doing terribly on PC and Xbox One, but according to like Cliff Bleszinski himself, he was saying, it's actually not doing too bad on PS4,
Okay.
which is a bit strange, but I somehow don't think that's financially viable.
Well, not too bad compared to 50 players.
Yeah, well, I doubt it's enough to be financially viable for
Yeah.
the company.
To keep the servers up and all that stuff.
Yeah, but anyway, that's just a sad tale. Now, I know no one here has finished The Witcher 3 besides me, and maybe some haven't even played The Witcher 3.
I'm like 70% of the way through it.
70%?
Yeah.
Dude, it's way more than when I last checked in with you.
Yeah,
You're like, I
actually
did the intro and stuff.
Oh, no, I actually played it, yeah.
Okay, well, CD Projekt Red, the developers of that, started to speak on their next project, which was Cyberpunk 2077 or something. A project which was basically like revealed 6 years ago before The Witcher 3.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was like released at the same time they did a trailer, and then somehow it's like coming out way later. But apparently it is 4 times larger than The Witcher 3.
Jeez. The Witcher 3 is huge. What, including DLCs or just...
I think it might be including DLCs. I don't know. Here's the thing. It was done by a post on like NeoGAF from someone that claims to have like industry inside stuff.
Yeah.
And it was done through an anonymous source. However, the person who has said it, the person who like reported it has known to be right many times in the past.
Yep.
And on top of that, even the game director himself has said like Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be magnitudes bigger than Witcher 3. So this does
It gives a bit of validity to the statement.
yeah, I think we can at least assume it's going to be larger. Either way, that's scary, considering The Witcher, like, you guys know I hate side quests. I hate shit that, like, wastes my time.
Witcher 3 is full of side quests.
But its side quests are good enough because they're all in, like, mini stories, aren't they?
Yeah, like, a lot of the time I find myself not doing the main quest at all and just doing the side quests.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not just the side quests, right? You know when you're on the island?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what's the side quest? You're going to elect a new ruler for the island.
It actually has impact.
Yeah, I'm like,
It
holy
changes
shit,
the landscape of the game.
I genuinely want to do that. And some of it even impacts your endings. I won't tell you that. You know, the first time I played that game though, I tried to get with both chicks, and I got that
And then
ending
you
where you
don't
get
get
tied
either.
to the chair. Moving on, the Nintendo Switch voice chat app got an update.
So is that an app? Is it through your phone or what?
Through
is
your
it?
phone.
Yeah. So why not just like get Discord on your phone?
Yeah. There's no reason not to.
Very strange. I guess it's easier to add people if it's just like you're in game and you can just add them.
Yeah. So you'll be able to. It'll obviously tie in with the Switch functionalities.
Uh-huh.
But obviously, a lot of people have been like critical of it because the app sucks, and B, because people found out that the Switch actually has the functionalities for voice chat. If you guys remember last week, where people did like the LAN thing, and then they were like, "Wait a minute, the Switch has voice chat functionalities. Why am I using this app?" But anyway, one of the biggest criticisms of the app so far has been that whenever you're using the like Nintendo Switch voice app, you can't let your like screen turn off.
Oh, if your screen turns off.
If your screen turns off, the app stops. So if you're like playing the game, you have to
put your
like
phone down.
constantly touch your phone, or you'll have
That's
to
really
turn
annoying.
off the screen, or you have to stop the screen from turning off. And another one is that if another app is open, if you open up another app, like, you're on the Switch voice chat, but you get like a text message. in
Yeah.
real
So you
life,
click on your message.
Then
and it closes the
it'll
voice app.
close the.
That's so stupid.
So basically, that got fixed, and you can have an app open as long as it doesn't require the use of the microphone or speaker.
Yeah. Okay. Which makes sense.
Moving on to more Switch news, and it seems like the Switch might be becoming the platform that's best for indies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this comes from Gama Sutra, where they talk to a lot of, I don't know, it's a website. They talk to a bunch of studios, and a lot of them are seeing more sales on the Switch than like any other platform.
Of indie studios specifically.
Yeah, indies, not AAAs.
Yeah.
But, so for instance, Lizard Entertainment, the
Lizard?
guys that...
That's not an indie studio.
Lizard. Almost. The guys that made Wonder Boy, if you've heard
Oh
of this
yeah,
one.
I have heard of Wonder Boy.
So they sold more on the Switch than they have of any other platform combined,
Wow.
which is amazing. And a similar result has occurred with like Oceanhorn Developer.
Mhm.
So it seems like indies are getting another life. And I was wondering,
It's a really great place for an indie game because like when you're sitting down on your computer and you have time, a lot of time you'll play like a AAA game or something that is more substantial. But if you're just like on the train or something, you can play a little cutesy indie game.
yeah,
And it's a way better place for it.
because you don't want to have something that's immediate investment, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to play an RPG and get like sell your underwear in the
Yeah.
time you get to like on your train journey. But do you also think that the reason why indies are selling so well is because there aren't many games on the Switch at the moment? And
I think
so
that might
this is
be-
kind of like all there is to play on.
Yeah. So when people buy their Zelda and whatever other AAA title they want, there's nothing really else to buy except for the indie games.
Well,
So
'cause-
people are going to the store and looking up what else to buy, and it's just indie games.
So like if you look at the AAA games that are, or large games, we'll say, because I don't think there are many AAA games you can really say that are on the Switch other
Yeah.
than Breath of the Wild. You've got what? Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, Disgaea, but Disgaea I think falls under
Mario
that.
Rabbids.
Mario Rabbids, yeah, and what's that one? Arms was the
Yeah,
other one
Arms,
that were
yeah.
big pushing. Like Arms, you can't play. You can't really play that on the go, can you?
No, you gotta. I think you have to be at home because you have to use the controllers.
I think you might be able to like have a traditional one, but also I feel like if you're on the go, you don't really want to be playing something that requires like fast reflexes.
Yeah, no.
And what else? So Zelda, of course, is Zelda. Then Mario Kart. I don't know.
Mario Kart's a hard one to play on the go as well. If you're like on a train or something, it's pretty weird to play Mario Kart.
And so I think like these small little ones are just getting another life on the Switch. It's kind of like with the PS Vita. The Vita was like a home for tons of indies because the Vita had no games. But I think the Switch is going to fare much better.
Yep.
And it's going to have way more games. It's just going to be interesting to see whether or not like this trend continues when the Switch gets its like huge amount of games. Moving on, the next Call of Duty is most likely going to be going back to modern times. So obviously the new one is going to
After
be
World War One,
World War II, I think. Isn't this one?
World War Two makes more sense.
What? No, this isn't this one coming out World War II?
I think so. Yeah. Is it World War Two or World War One?
Hugo can.
Probably.
World War Four. Yeah, that's it.
No, I would say it's one.
I think it's World War One because it's all like old school gunpowder guns, right?
Yeah, so they were going old school for that stuff. Like the trailer with all the trenches and stuff like that, yeah.
Because all like I think all the beginning games were World War.
I could have sworn it was because I always thought like the meme that I saw was it was called COD Wii. So I thought it was called World War II.
I don't know. I think it's World War One.
Anyway, doesn't matter. So basically, the people on NeoGAF figured out they had a look at one of the biggest, oldest tricks in the books, job postings,
Oh yeah.
and that basically gave away that the next COD will be modern. So there are two key desirables, within the
Modern or futuristic? Do they know?
I think it's modern because the two desirables that were listed there included a deep knowledge base of firearms and modern military technology,
Okay.
and prestige 1 or above in COD Black Ops 3 multiplayer. So yeah, that'll be interesting. The next studio up is like Treyarch, which I think might be the best COD studio.
Have you ever prestiged in a Call of Duty game?
Yes.
Okay. Which Call of Duty did you prestige?
I used to be obsessed with Call of Duty. So I got on board with Call of Duty World at War, which is the fifth one.
Yeah.
And me and my friends, we would play that a ton back when I was like at the start of high school.
Mhm.
Like we're fucking amazing at zombies. We played a ton. I think I was like prestige like 6 or 7.
I got to prestige 4 or 5 in Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
And that's the whole chunk of my life that I wasted.
It's so bad, isn't it? Like you think of, oh my god, what a waste of my time.
What a waste.
Anyway, did anyone else look at the Nintendo Direct? Or am I the only one that saw it? Okay. The
Nintendo
it's
Direct.
basically where they announce all their stuff outside of E3.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of it. As expected, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were at the Direct. They opened it with that. It basically looks like a Switch remaster with like a definitive edition style to Pokemon Sun and Moon that exists on the 3DS.
Uh-huh. So it's coming out on the Switch, is it?
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is the one coming on the Switch.
Okay. So are they? Do you know if they're putting a main title on the Switch?
Yeah, they're working on it. I think Game Freak, Game Informer had like a thing where they went to Tokyo and they went and viewed the offices.
Yeah.
And Game Freak was basically just like, yeah, we're working on a main title Switch. You know?
That'll be pretty cool.
But until then, to tie like Pokemon fans over on the Switch, which
Ultra
is
Sun and Ultra Moon.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I imagine as well because like Naughty Dog did it with The Last of Us. It allows them to get familiar with the tech.
Yeah, to work out bugs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, also like what they can do with it realistically, and because they don't actually have to design a game, they just need to just technically do it, so the tech team can get used to it, and that everyone else can just go working on the main one. But anyway, that was there. It had a seriously bad trailer. Like, if you are someone that's hyped for Pokemon on the Switch, don't watch it. Because you know what it's like? It's a definitive edition, right? So it's got these like little iterative updates.
Mhm.
You know how when you see a definitive edition, it's like, oh, new clothes. Or be like, oh, in this case, it's like a new Pokemon. It'll be like a new Pokemon. But the way they did it is like split up into part four parts. It's like part one thing. And then they have like subparts within it. And it's like, this kills any form of hype.
That seems really weird.
And all the footage that you saw of it was footage you've already seen from the game already.
So it's nothing new.
Nothing new.
Right.
But it was bad. Along with that, they also announced a new Pokeball Edition 2DS XL.
2DS XL.
Yeah.
Because everyone loved the 2DS so much that they have to make a 2DS XL.
You know why they're doing this? I think, Hugo, do you remember this one?
The 3DS already has
The patents.
yeah, someone's also got the rights.
So a former like Sony employee had the patent for glassless 3D, which is what the 3DS is, right? You don't need to wear your glasses on it.
Mhm.
So for every 3DS they sell, they have to pay a percentage of that to that person.
Okay.
So to do this with the 2DS, right, they get rid of
Having to pay that dude.
having to pay that guy.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the 2DS, they really want to push it, because it's higher profit for them. But yeah,
2DS is so shit.
what do you mean?
It's a
It's just a
it's
new
just
one. It's
2DS.
basically
2DS is just like bulky and gross.
no, but this is like the new one, kind of like the new 3DS. They like updated the hardware,
Okay.
so like
I'll have to have a look.
so like runs with the because you know how the new 3DS can play games that the old one can't.
Yeah.
I think this one can play all those 3DS games, but just doesn't have 3D capability.
Okay.
Which, I mean, how many people use the 3D anyway?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But the 2DS is the one that doesn't fold.
I imagine this would fold if it's like a revised version of it, right?
Maybe. But I think that was, whatever. I don't know.
Anyway, we'll find out. Honestly don't really know. I kind of like assume the DS ecosystem is its like own shit that does whatever it wants. But anyway, moving on. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga remake for the 3DS on October 6th coming out.
I've never heard of that game before.
I don't know. It's just one of the many games, alright. Kirby Battle Royale, a 3DS game, which, if you guys remember PlayStation Battle Royale,
Yeah.
looks like that. Apparently, it has like a single player content as well. How serious it is yet to be seen. Yokai Watch 2, Psychic Spectres, and Oni Evolutions, which are like
Yokai Watch did really good in Japan, didn't it?
Yeah, Hugo, you're the one that first told me about this.
It also
Has
I think the
Yokai Watch
anime
been
got quite big.
successful? Like, I don't think it's been successful
To my knowledge, in the Western market,
in the Western market.
not so much.
Not in the West, but in Japan it was really
It's
successful.
only popular
Yeah.
because of the anime.
Yeah.
Is the anime good?
It's
Apparently.
kids show.
It's a kids show.
It's like Pokemon. It's like just this generation's Pokemon. Kids.
Ah, okay. But because it doesn't seem to have taken off in the West. In fact, Pokemon in general doesn't seem to be as popular with young kids as it used to be.
Yeah. Younger kid, there's so much more opportunity. Like when I was a kid growing up, it was really Pokemon or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. I didn't have, like, a single Nintendo console, but, like, I knew everything about Pokemon even when I was younger. Like,
Yeah.
that was the shit you wanted to learn about. But it doesn't seem, like, when I talk to some, like, younger people, they just don't give a shit about Pokemon at all. But I think Pokemon's still a massive one.
It's
but
huge.
that stuff is coming out 29th of September. And if you watch this one, it's one of the, you know when you put in a trailer or something, you want to like make your stuff look as good as possible.
Yeah.
This one was hilarious. The frame rate was tanking so bad. Right? They were showing it. They only showed one piece of gameplay, like from the entire thing. Everything else was like Yokai Watch 2 with like symbols and stuff.
Yeah.
So there was only one piece of gameplay that went for like 2-3 seconds, and in it the frame rate was just like tanking like crazy.
I
And
guess they
I'm
haven't.
just like, guys, you have like an entire game. Why not show some part where like the gameplay is stable? But no. Anyway, moving on. Layton's Mystery Adventure, October
Professor Layton
6th.
is actually a great game.
Yeah.
Have you ever played any of Professor Layton's?
I played like half of them. I've never finished a single one though.
Oh, okay. I quite enjoyed them.
Yeah. Well, this one you get to play as his daughter in this version of the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
She like starts her own detective agency. Is Layton dead? Is that why his daughter's around?
I have no idea.
Who did he marry?
I don't know. I didn't play any of the recent ones. I only played them ages ago.
And that's coming out October 6th on the 3DS. And Mario for 3DS has also just got announced. Sorry, not Mario. Minecraft for 3DS.
Minecraft for 3DS.
That's the
I was
one.
gonna say, I feel like there's already Mario in the 3DS.
And I mean, hey, it's Minecraft for 3DS. And
Yeah, there's
ironic-
not really much else to say about it.
It sounds weird because, like, I imagine most older people like do not give a shit.
Yeah.
It's
But
probably the
it's
biggest
huge.
game
It's
on
absolutely
this
huge.
lineup. Mario Party: The Top 100. Ken, do you remember how much time you spent in Mario Party?
Never played it.
Really? Surely you must have played Mario Party. Oh, Hugo?
No, not at all.
I played it a couple times.
What the fuck? How you guys not play Mario Party?
What do you mean?
Mario Party is like a massive game. Like,
Which one's that?
Mario Party. It's
Mario-
like when you like roll dice and like move around the board and that
Oh
sort
yeah, I
of stuff.
did play it on the GameCube.
all right. Well, for massive fans such as yourself, Nintendo's decided to create the Mario Party Top 100. So 100 of the best minigames
What?
in Mario Party history for the what is it for actually? For the 3DS on November 10. And my question is it even possible to have 100 good minigames?
I don't think so.
I haven't
How many
played.
minigames are there?
I've only played like 3 good minigames in the history.
Yeah, me too.
Hugo, what's the best minigame you've played?
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Dude, I swear like Mario Kart is the minigame.
It's super arcadey, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, the best minigame I played was Blitzball.
Was also
Oh,
really good.
Blitzball from Final Fantasy. Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can agree with that.
But yeah, so for anyone who loves Mario Party and is like, I can't wait to get back to those mini games.
So is it just the minigames? Like there's no Mario Party gameplay?
They didn't show anything of the Mario Party gameplay. I'm assuming it has to be there, right?
Yeah, because you can't just have minigames. That's like,
Hey,
there's no
man,
point.
have you seen 1-2 Switch?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Have you seen Wii Sports?
Yeah, Wii Sports did really well.
Yeah. I mean,
Have you
people
played that?
got it with the console.
Yeah, Wii Sports did well because you couldn't get the Wii without Wii Sports.
Yeah.
You
I mean, I don't know. I just think Wii Sports was such a great idea. Because,
It's
like,
fake. It's like pretending to be healthy, but not actually being healthy.
no, but it's like, if you think of all of Nintendo's hardware, there's always, like, some sort of unique angle to it.
Yeah.
And the Wii Sports, like, showed that off. Whereas, and you didn't have to pay for it, so you automatically got it. But, moving on. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney coming to the 3DS. and
Apollo
Nintendo.
Justice Ace Attorney.
The Ace Attorney where you play as Apollo.
I don't know. I'm so confused.
I don't know. I've only played, like, a couple of those games. I don't remember much of them.
Oh, I know those games. It's like Ace Ventura, isn't it? Something like that.
Ace Ventura.
Not Ace Ventura. What the hell?
The Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, no, that's obviously not the name.
The
of
one
that
where he's like in a robotic hippo trying to like fool some guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And then gets like it overheats and then he has to like get shot out of the electronic hippo. And it looks like the hippo is giving birth to him and there's this like person like sitting at the back just like what the fuck's going on? No, so that's a bit of a tangent. Fire Emblem Warriors. Now this is not a Fire Emblem game. This is a Muso game.
What?
You know the Muso ones? It's like where like Dragon Quest Heroes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're gonna fight like 100,000 guys, and it's like it's not gonna be actually challenging, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
It's like fake challenging because there's so many people.
no, it's like you. I don't even think you can die if you want to in those.
Oh really?
Well, I mean, you have to be so bad to do it, but it's basically just like you're a god. It's like a power fantasy, is what it is.
Oh okay.
And this one is like it puts all the Fire Emblem heroes together from all the games. So basically, it's like ultimate fan service, I imagine. Anyway, that's coming out October 20th for the Switch and the 3DS. It's going to be interesting because like the 3DS has such a large install base, right?
Yeah.
So they have to release games for this 3DS.
It's gonna be a long time before they stop releasing games on the 3DS.
But it's like if you look at it this way, right? Tons of games got held back because of, say, if you think of Middle Earth, like Shadow of Mordor,
Yeah.
Destiny 1, all those games had to be on last gen systems. So they all got held back to some extent.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be a problem with the Switch because it's like it doesn't have much better graphics quality, really.
Really? No, because like the
Big
Switch.
difference, dude.
Yeah. The
Oh, really?
Switch. The Switch is the power of the Switch. I think is about the same power as the 360 and the PS3.
Oh okay.
Whereas the 3DS is like
Way lower.
I think
than
even lower than the PS2.
that. Really? Jesus.
3DS.
Yeah.
Way lower.
So I mean, it's a way more powerful system. So people are asking like, for instance, one of the biggest disappointments is like with games this generation, you haven't seen like an evolution in games.
Yeah.
Like PS2 to PS3, you saw like an evolution in the way games are designed,
was
but
a
this
huge
generation
change.
you haven't. And so because there's like such a massive power difference, right?
Yeah.
People are saying it's going to be similar. Like the difference should be similar to that of like the PS2 to PS3 or PS1 to PS2.
Mhm.
So is like the 3DS holding back just like types of games from existing?
I guess it might be actually.
Because there's no game that exists now that couldn't have existed with shittier graphics.
Yeah.
Except for No Man's Sky, ironically. And that game wasn't very good.
No.
But I imagine there will be a fair few games that like cannot exist because they have to share on the 3DS.
Does it have to be able to run on the 3DS?
Anyway, Stu, as an owner of a Switch, what's the biggest game you're looking forward to for?
Mario Odyssey probably.
And anything else after that?
Not really.
An RPG?
An RPG.
Like what? Think no.
I feel like you're trying to lead me to something and I don't know what it is.
Think of like the Wii U, JRPG,
Wow.
massive mechs,
Switch Sports.
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade. Yeah.
Oh, Xenoblade.
So-
I never played a Xenoblade though.
Oh, amazing! I played the one on the Wii. I don't know if Ken, do you know what that one was called?
Yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah. it
Because
was
this is
Chronicles.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh, the one on the Wii was the old one. It's like a remake.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was amazing. Anyway,
It's classic, isn't it?
I-
It's such a long game, though. Holy shit.
I don't know. It's always good to like dig into a long game every now and then. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was there, and like I don't know about you, but every time I see a game done by the studio that makes Xenoblade, I go, "Wow, these guys really know their tech shit."
Yeah, they're pretty spectacular.
It looks amazing, doesn't it? Here's the thing: it looked graphically amazing, and it kind of like set up the story beats of the thing, like introducing the world. Like here are the various factions and things like that. So much so, like I was convinced this game wasn't coming out this year. But they showed enough here that I'm just like, they're probably going to hit this year.
That'd be pretty.
Which, if you
insane.
think about it, right, like all the games that have come out for the Switch is an amazing first-party lineup, and it's a real achievement. Though, if you guys want to look at the trailer, I recommend it because the trailer is really cool and it sets up. I don't know, it's good because it makes me excited about where it could go in terms of the premise.
I've always liked the look of Xenoblade. I just haven't played any of them.
But there's only one thing I have to say about it.
What?
The animations look rough, man.
Oh, really?
Like, because they've got like animals and stuff. They don't really show many like I don't know, I suppose you call it human ones, but they have like a lot of these strange creatures, and they do not move like fluidly at all. It didn't look pretty. But moving on, Snipper Clips Definitive Edition, November 10, coming out. Snipper Clips with extra stuff in it.
What is Snipper Clips?
Oh, Snipper Clips has to be the best co-op game on the Switch by far.
Really?
Yeah. So what you do is you're like pieces of paper trying to accomplish a mission, and you can like cut shapes out of each other. So it's like a co-op game.
Okay. Oh, I think I've seen it actually.
And basically, this is like the definitive edition of that. Moving on. Oh, have you guys seen Morphe's Law?
Morphe's Law? No.
It's a team-based shooter for the Switch, and it looks sick. So the concept of it is basically that what you do is when you shoot your opponent, you steal their mass. So if you shoot them in the head, their head gets smaller and your head gets larger. And like as a team, the team at the end with the most mass wins.
Okay.
But like the way in which it works is if you like shoot someone's legs and you get like massive legs, you can jump high, so you can like jump over buildings and the map changes.
Oh, that seems really cool.
And if you get really small, you'll be able to use like little ducts in like buildings and stuff to like go in and out, and you'll obviously be harder to hit. And it looks really, really dope. It's coming out late 2017, which is a bit strange that they haven't actually given a release date yet.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming out late 2017 now, is it?
We're like getting into late 2017 already.
Yeah, not much time left for that. Rocket League is coming to the Switch this holiday. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Arena of Valor. Hugo, you know about MOBAs, don't you?
Yeah, I do know about MOBAs.
What's
yeah.
Arena of Valor?
I don't know about this game, but I know
Please
MOBAs.
explain. No, it's so... I did a bit of searching on this. It's made by Tencent,
Oh, I know Tencent.
the guys who own Riot, is it? Or League of Legends?
Yep.
And I don't know. For some reason, like I feel like this is a bit embarrassing, but it's a MOBA, right? Team-based MOBA, like your League of Legends and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's not a proper MOBA. I put that in quotation marks. I don't know. I could be talking out of my ass. But it was a phone game. Like it was a phone MOBA. And then now they're bringing it to the Switch.
Do you remember?
MOBA on the
I
Switch.
showed you this one. It might have actually been Arena of Valor, but there's an article about an esports team who got sponsored by and did an article about the what do you call it? Like not drugs. They are drugs, but it's the
PEDs, Adderall.
yeah, stuff like that. And pretty much they were using it to play, I think, for Arena of Valor, because to my knowledge, that's the only MOBA on the mobile that has a pro scene. If you
Oh, so it
know
has
it.
a pro scene.
Yeah, these are esports pros. There's no other
Oh, okay. So
there's
that's,
no other reason for them to use PEDs.
So maybe I'm just being facetious, but it seems like it's legit then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's actually quite big.
Because whenever I heard it, I was just like, a MOBA on a mobile.
Yeah.
And this is what's coming to the Switch. Get the fuck out of here.
It's because it seems like ridiculous. And when I watch gameplay and I watch the pros play, they're playing on these tablets here. It's just got like your your typical like controllers and just a few buttons. And to my knowledge, it's like this can't constitute enough for a pro scene because it looks like something a kid could play.
Yeah.
That's why it looks ridiculous.
Anyway, so that's coming to the Switch. I think it's good though to have it because it's like they're just filling out a portfolio.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what Sony has been doing for a while now. Sony have they might not have the greatest game like the Order 1886 isn't the great game, but it's in their portfolio. So if someone likes it, they're like, well, I might as well go for this, right? It's better to have something better than nothing.
They better not end up like Steam though, where
It's
they
like-
just have a library of all this shit.
But yeah, better not end up with Steam. It's kind of like, I remember I met someone at uni and they were like, oh, I wouldn't want like No Man's Sky on like on like the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, why? That's such a stupid thing. You'd rather like not have something at all than like even have a bad version of it. Like it's probably not even meant for you anyway. It seems like a really weird thing to have. But I do think Nintendo's doing a great job because you got what? Now you got that first-person team-based shooter. You got a MOBA.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Splatoon. They're like covering all their bases. Plus, they got like Zelda, Mario, and everything like that. All right. So, Skyrim, November 17 this year is coming out for the Switch. I'm interested to see if like the Skyrim bubble has popped yet.
I don't think so.
You think it's going to sell well?
I think it'll sell pretty well.
It's so funny because I was like watching the they had like obviously a trailer or something.
Yeah.
For it, and you know, like, how do you sell this game anymore?
The question is,
No, like, just think, if you were to make a trailer, what would you do to sell this game, right? And I'll tell you how they sold it.
I would say it's Skyrim, but it's on the Switch.
Yeah. You go.
Maybe appeal to the mods on the game.
So that's
It
what
won't
I
have
was
mods
gonna ask. Is it
on it,
moddable? Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh man, dude, Nintendo doesn't even have voice chat on their thing. Do you think they're going to make a
Yeah,
moddable
no.
game?
But I think that's going to be a downfall for it as a Skyrim.
Nah, I don't think so. I think people who are getting Skyrim on consoles know they're not modding it properly.
Yeah.
Like, even if you got the one on Xbox with mods,
Mhm.
you're not modding it properly because PC's got the only proper mods.
Yeah, you don't have the same mod creators.
Yeah, you know how they did it? They were like, you can make new characters.
Wait,
I was
what?
like that was kind of like the tagline that they were doing, and they showed like a guy that looked like Link in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, play Skyrim again, but have Link's armor and stuff. Like, you can make new character.
Oh my gosh.
Which, I mean, you know, I suppose they had to say something, but that's not what I would have picked. Okay, this one I think is genuinely going to surprise you.
Okay.
I'm saying 2 first-person shooter games, AAA, big of this generation, will be coming to the Switch.
Call of Duty, Battlefield.
No.
Overwatch.
CS:GO.
Think old school. These are the old school shooters. Like, some of the original shooters of all time. The
Doom.
ones- Yeah, and?
Quake.
No.
Call of Duty. I have no idea.
Wolfenstein.
Oh, Wolfenstein.
So I was so shocked to see this because we've all largely like said the reason why a lot of the games aren't going to come to the Switch is because they just won't run.
Yes.
Now clearly Bethesda are just like, well, we're going to make these games run. So for instance, Doom, right? Doom is coming. Doom, I'm actually not that shocked because I feel like if you paired it back enough.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Doom is not a super intensive game.
But one thing I was shocked about, Wolfenstein 2, not the one that hasn't come out. I'm talking about the one that is coming out, is coming to the Switch.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And here's the thing, right? If you're, that's just my train of thought. Like, I was so surprised to hear that this would be coming to the Switch. I was wondering, like, how would it even just run this game?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
But here's the thing. Do you think it's going to be an issue you're hitting 60 frames per second? Do you think they have to prioritize 60 frames per second?
I don't think so.
But, like, Doom and Wolfenstein are fast-paced shooters.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's running at even 45 FPS, like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, true. Fair enough. Moving on. Arcade Archive to the Switch, which is basically a bunch of old arcade games. So like Mario on the arcade machine and things like that. I don't know. Is this a big deal?
No, I don't think so.
Every time I see like Nintendo release old games, right? And because what they do is they release like emulators, right?
Yeah.
I always get kind of annoyed that they don't have like a standardized system across platforms to say you've already purchased something. I'm like,
yeah, because you have to rebuy the games.
you have to rebuy the game, and that always gets frustrating. But this is coming out. Hopefully, it's pretty cool. Where am I up to now? Breath of the Wild amiibos were announced. They'll give you a bunch of materials in game,
Yeah, basically nothing.
and maybe some other stuff to be announced. NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, FIFA 18, and Pokemon Tournament DX.
Mhm.
They're all coming out by the end of the year, which I think is great. A question needs to be asked though is like when FIFA came out for the Switch, it was like the PS3 port,
Yeah.
not the new version of it,
Uh-huh.
and it had no story mode, so it wasn't like, oh, it just doesn't look graphically better. It's
It
like,
was just like not the full game.
yeah, which I think is it gonna be the same thing again
I hope not.
with these other ones? Anyway, we'll find out later. Now, Stu, do you like RPGs?
I do like RPGs.
What if I told you there's this thing called Project Octopath Traveler?
I would have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a game that hasn't been announced, hasn't been released yet.
Hasn't been announced yet.
Well, it's been announced, but hasn't been released. And this game looks amazing. Like the art style, everything looks absolutely superb. And it's a Switch exclusive, like exclusive period, not just
Not just like a builder, like a
launch or a console exclusive or things like that. And there's a demo actually available for free now on the Switch.
Oh, I'll have to try it.
So if you want to go pick it up, I think it looks fucking dope. And it's great to see Nintendo just being the only company now doing demos again.
Demos are awesome. That's such a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Because you get to actually try the game out before you buy it. Because with most games, obviously, you pay full price and then try the game. And if you don't like it, then you've paid full price and you can't like get your money back or anything.
Really? Because I think it might be the opposite. Because I played like a lot of demos and been like, I know what this game is about. I don't need to play it.
Oh, I guess so. But it's like the demo is like a teaser. Like if I like the demo, I'll buy the game.
Yeah, fair enough. Moving on. Dragon Quest Builders for the Switch, spring 2018. This hasn't been a surprise, but it looks pretty cool. Kirby Star Allies, spring 2018. Lost Sphere is an RPG coming 23rd of Jan 2018.
Okay.
So this is this made by Square Enix? It's like a remake of a original, or it's like a reimagining or something like that. But anyway, it's a classic RPG or something coming back. Sonic Forces, November 7th. Resident
Is
Evil.
that a Sonic game?
Yeah, the new Sonic game coming out.
Jeez. All the Sonic games recently have been so good quality that I'm just really looking forward to them.
You mean the one Sonic game?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe they got away with it. Sonic Mania is a fan-made game, and they got away with like selling it.
All the Sonic games recently are all garbage.
It's been like that for a while. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, November 28.
Uh-huh.
LA Noire, November 14. And, where am I looking? Sorry. Mario Odyssey had a trailer. I think I already told you guys this, but don't look at the trailer. Like, the trailer's too much.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that it just like gives away the whole game.
Maybe not the whole game, but a lot of surprises. Like, I was like, I had no clue that this form of gameplay was in it.
Okay.
It's like, I'd rather have just been surprised when I'm playing the
I know
game.
what you mean.
But yeah, the internet loves Mario's areolas.
His nipples. Mario's got nipples.
Yeah,
Hashtag free the Mario nipple.
Apparently they're like really big as well. But yeah, everyone's talking about that for some reason. And lastly, dude, I completely forgot. There has to be something else here. I swear there was something about a Shin Megami Tensei game.
What did he make?
Oh, what?
What did Shin Megami Tensei make?
Persona.
Oh, Persona, yeah.
No, here we go. So Atlas, the guys that publish like all the Persona games and all those classic RPGs,
Mhm.
they are bringing to the 3DS the Alliance Alive, which is a new one, Etrian Odyssey 5, Radiant Historia, Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey Redux in 2018 to the 3DS. That's an insane lineup.
That's a lot of games.
Not just that, there are a lot of incredible games.
I haven't played any of those games though.
Well, you should. Sometimes, like, you just got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when Hugo got me onto Persona, like, I did not want to do it. Sometimes.
You had your doubts. You were like, oh, this is just some generic anime game. That's like some Japanese JRPG.
Well, to be fair,
It is kind of.
it is, but it's so much more than that, which is what makes it great. And that is it for the Nintendo Direct. Moving on, Bruce Straley leaves Naughty Dog. Now, for those of you who don't know, he's the game director of, I think, like Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Okay.
So,
Does that mean no more Uncharted and no more Last of Us's?
well, Last of Us Part 2's already been announced, but no more Uncharted, so the studio's finished with that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of been a thing with a lot of people have brought up, is that Naughty Dog is leaking talent.
Yeah, a lot of good people are leaving Naughty Dog.
Yeah, they had like Amy Hennig going, Bruce Straley now, and a bunch of these like senior people in the team that in the studio that have made the studio great have disappeared. And the last one before we get to the major story, you're the one that plays Overwatch a lot out of everyone here.
Yep.
Have you found the toxicity in Overwatch?
I don't play competitive a lot because of the toxicity, so I pretty much just stick to quick play
Yeah.
because I find that you can actually play games and not tilt off your mind.
Yeah.
But I think it's getting better.
Better?
There's been a lot more consequences for toxicity.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Kaplan, the game director, actually has come out and spoken about this in a new video. And he's saying how toxic players have actually slowed down the game's development.
Because they have to spend so much time thinking about it and trying to address it.
So the actual quote is, we want to make new maps, we want to make new heroes, we want to make animated shorts, but we've been put in this weird position where we are spending a tremendous amount of time and resources punishing people and trying to make people behave better.
Yeah, which I understand. Because it ruins the game sometimes.
It does. It also like a toxic community can ruin. Oh, actually, Hugo, do you think a toxic community impacts like a game's appeal?
Definitely.
But it's like League of Legends. Like, what's the one thing everyone says about League of
It's
Legends?
the toxic.
the toxic community.
But it doesn't seem to have impacted it much.
Maybe because it's already established. But then I had to grow to become like that. I'm not too sure. I'm actually not too sure. I think like when you think about low elo, everyone kind of like knows what the term bronze player means.
Yeah.
And that comes from League, and that comes from the toxic community. So maybe it's kind of become a meme, something along those lines. But I mean, Overwatch doesn't have the reputation of a bronze player.
Silver Scrubs.
I'm not. Yeah.
That's more of a CSGO thing, though.
I'm not entirely sure as to why League can survive as a toxic community, but other communities cannot.
I mean, what's an example of a community that's died because of toxicity? Because I'm not really into multiplayer games that much. But I did stop playing Overwatch because like even though it's like it got to a point where like particularly when you play competitive, it didn't feel like your skill mattered at all after a certain point, particularly at like lower levels, or maybe I'm just a scrub. But it was like it's like I would play a lot of games and it would just be like I'm doing well and I'm still not winning. I don't understand what there's more I can do.
Because it's so important to have good teamwork in that game. So having a toxic player in your team, you just lose.
Yeah.
Because you can't win unless you're like a god and you carry everyone.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck in this whole competitive game because you can't leave, otherwise you get punished. You're stuck in this whole game. You have to play through the whole thing with someone toxic on your team, and there's no point because you can't win. So it's just a really bad situation.
How does Overwatch deal with toxic players?
Yeah, I haven't been on in a while.
Reports and bans.
But what does Overwatch actually do to the players?
I think you get banned.
Or just a straight up ban?
You can get banned for being toxic.
Is it hard to get banned?
Or,
because like some games
like,
it's like impossible to get banned.
I think it's getting better and better. Like people are getting banned more and more because they're actually like thinking about it and looking at it. But there was a while where it didn't matter at all.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to say anything more about that? Because you guys know much more about like online communities and stuff.
Really?
Right. Now another week, it seems like I should just start that. Another week, another cancelled exclusive for Microsoft is what it seems like it is. So I want to talk to you guys. Stu, have you read this one yet?
No.
Okay. About Stormlands. Hugo, have you heard of this?
I know there was a book. No idea.
The book. Okay, so this has actually been uncovered by Eurogamer when they went. Do you know who Obsidian Entertainment is?
I've heard of the name.
I've heard of it as well.
Think of 2 RPGs, one super famous and one we played together co-op.
I have no idea.
Hugo, you and I particularly hardcore the co-op one. Co-op one was like
Final Fantasy. No.
hardcore to the point where like we were like, this is too much for us to handle.
Tokyo Jungle. Oh god.
On the PS4, we played it.
We always play everything on PS4 though.
But we played a lot of games on the PS3.
I definitely should know.
A sequel just came out recently to it.
It's not helping.
Isometric, party-based.
Oh, the bow and arrow one? Oh, Jackbox?
Were you about to say Townfall Ascension? Bow and arrow one.
Yeah.
Think.
I've totally forgotten.
Starts with a D.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Diablo? No.
No, not Diablo. Okay, the
What's
first
next?
one is Fallout New Vegas, the big one, the big RPG that everyone knows about.
Okay.
The second one is made by the same studio. Does that give you any sort of clue?
Dance Dance Revolution.
One of the greatest games of all time, that has to be.
Dragon Age?
No, that's BioWare. This is made by Obsidian Entertainment. It's Divinity Original Sin. Oh!
I've never played it.
Yeah, it's just like a super hardcore RPG. And basically, if you ask for help, you're a scrub.
Yeah.
It's like the Dark Souls of RPGs, basically. So basically, I just said that 3 times. Eurogamer went to Obsidian Entertainment HQ just to do, I don't know, a cover trip or something and report on it. But what they did is they spoke to Obsidian about like a project they had called Stormlands. Now, what Stormlands is it's basically just Obsidian was doing what Obsidian does best, make RPGs. And they went to Microsoft with like a pitch. Microsoft then said like, hey, come back and we'll, it's a bit too tropey for our liking, for instance, right? And they said, come back with something a bit more unique. So the studio went away and they like did tons of work on the pitch. And they even created like a working demo of the game. And even if you look online now, you can see screenshots of the game. And basically they went through and Microsoft started proposing ideas to them about the game to change it. So this is what the co-owner and CEO, Fergus Urquhart, said. We were given a proposal of the Million Man Raid. Conceptually, what came from Microsoft was this idea. Imagine you're playing The Witcher, maybe with a friend. What happens if at points in time in the game, a giant creature pops up that you can see in the distance? And it's not just popping up while you're playing, it's popping up for everybody who's playing. You all rush this creature and there's this haze around it. And as you're all rushing through the haze, this game is matchmaking you into 40-man raids who are going to fight this creature. Then you fight it, but while the creature is being fought, all the footage is being recorded and up into the cloud. Then at the end, we would come up with some kind of intelligent editing thing, which would deliver everybody who fought with a personalized edited video of their participation in the raid. That was what was proposed to us.
What the fuck?
That sounds ridiculous.
It sounds really.
It sounds impossible, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think early Xbox, right? What was Microsoft's answer for their like console not having the power? And like particularly with like Crackdown 3, we're gonna use like the power of the cloud, right?
Oh yeah.
So this is like them using the power of the cloud. I think they thought the cloud was like unlimited power, sort of like cheap to win. Guys, you don't need to upgrade your computers anymore. Just have like the power of the cloud.
Use the power of the cloud.
Anyway, and so, you know, the other co-owner, Chris Parker, goes on and talks about how like Microsoft wanted things to be very new and like state of the art, top of the line, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than just like making something good, they wanted like a new spin on everything, like reinvent the wheel with everything you do, right? Like, oh, the proposal is too cliche, like you got to redo it, right? To make it more unique and things like that. And here's the thing. Obsidian ended up getting on board and signing to start creating the game with Microsoft, because Microsoft was basically like, they wanted a brand to invest in for like long term, many years to come. And Obsidian, being the kind of independent studio it is, was like, this is a huge contract that would be great for the studio to provide like long term financial security.
Yep, for its employees.
Yep. And obviously no one's heard of Stormlands, which was codenamed North Carolina. So obviously, as most people can guess how the story's going to end, it never saw the light of day at this game.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, they had some problems implementing what Microsoft wanted into their game, particularly with just making it. But also, there were some other things, like they wanted, if you were to vendor-based like haggling with the Kinect, so if you're going to sell some stuff, you'd use the Kinect and you'd like talk to the Kinect and be like, no, 5 silver pieces less, nothing more, nothing less.
So terrible.
And it'd be like voice-based and things like that. And pretty much they couldn't get it done. It became impossible, and the game eventually had to be cancelled. But it kind of leaves people... The reason why this is kind of like become an issue, because, you know, obviously this is like 2 A-grade developers. Like they did, the guys at Platinum and Obsidian, that Microsoft couldn't seem to have like got shit together. Yeah. Like these aren't just like random studios that have come to them. These are like some of the best developers in the industry that clearly know what they're doing. And Microsoft hasn't been able to work with them not because of like anything out of their control. It's because Microsoft has decided to interfere with the product, right? Like they wanted to make X product. Instead, Microsoft's like, no, make Y. And so it's kind of like got a lot of people upset. And so it's got a lot of people upset because of that. But I think the real kind of sad thing about this is because like Obsidian signed it, thought they had this contract, right? Because this game got cancelled after a year. Like what one of the co-founders comes in and he says, like, he talks about how he had to get everyone they hired on for the game, like, to come in and then fire them to let them know that they were getting let go.
Because the game's not being made, so there's no space for them.
Right, and it's like a AAA game, so they hired like
a ton
of people. And you can imagine when it's these like long-term projects,
you expect quite a secure job.
Yeah, so people have like moved into state, like moved everything, and then they get told like,
we don't actually need you.
Yeah, you got to go. Because this was also planned to be like a decade-long IP, right?
Yeah.
With Microsoft's plan, that's how it was pitched to them. So when they were doing their recruitment, they were like, no, you're going to be here for a long time. Like, you're going to live here. This is a place where you're going to live. Like 10 years.
This is where your family's going to be.
Yeah, you might raise people. You might join us later. And it's kind of like another issue with Microsoft like screwing developers over. So if you think of Platinum, Scalebound had been in development for about 6-7 years, or like 5-6 years, sorry, for a very long time before it was cancelled. And you hear like the leads on the game, for instance, had to take like a break because it got too stressful for them and all these issues. So it just kind of sucks with how everything seems to be handled.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's probably it for today. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
No.
All right. See you guys on the next one.